Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Naomi and let's dream about beauty. In today's video I have for you a chatty get ready with me. It's been a while since I've done one of these sort of rambly type chatty videos, and I thought I would talk about being insecure on YouTube, which sounds kind of funny because YouTube is definitely not a place where you want to be an insecure person. But I am an insecure person and I'd like to talk about that. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts and feelings and seeing the makeup look that I do, then just keep on watching. So my plan is to just chat and ramble and do my makeup at the same time. I'm going to talk a little bit about the makeup and chat as I do that, so hopefully this is something that you're going to enjoy. So I'm feeling like my skin is looking a little bit red today, so I'm going to go in with this product here. It's from Indeed Laboratories, which actually was started, if I'm not sure, by the same man who started The Ordinary. So I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere, but I'm not 100% sure. So I should double check that before if I'm wrong or something, maybe I'll just leave a title on the screen and correct myself. But anyhow, so this is called Nano Blur Color Corrector and it's in the shade green and it reduces redness. So that is what I'm going to use for my primer. So I would call myself a deeply insecure person. I worry constantly about what other people think about me, and it's sometimes to the point where it's not paralyzing, but it's definitely a handicap, because it's really hard to relax in social situations when I'm constantly thinking about how other people perceive me, because I don't have that sort of on-board self-confidence that helps me to it's like everyone else is a mirror for me to judge myself by. I don't have kind of an internal ability to be sure of how I am, or how I perceive myself. I use other people's perceptions to try to judge how I am, and this is something I hate about myself. I wish I was different. I grew up being a Jehovah's Witness, and when you are in a small town in a religion that's very different from other people's religions, and you're in a small school and you're the only person who doesn't celebrate Christmas or birthdays or any of those sorts of holidays, you are really isolated and you feel very different from your peers. And I think that when you're forced to feel very different from your peers, that it's almost a form of child abuse, because it's really important for people to feel like they belong. And when you don't feel like you belong, it causes lifelong social handicaps, and that's what happened to me. Also, I had a father who was, he was pretty tough on me sometimes, and the way he was that, when you had his approval, it felt amazing. Like, having his approval felt like you're on cloud nine. Having his disapproval felt terrible. And so I am deeply afraid of people's disapproval. And that is a hard way to be when you are on YouTube. But I spent, let me see, I think I'm gonna go in with Born This Way Matte. This is the new Too Faced foundation. I've used this once and I didn't really like it, so I'm just gonna try it again and see if I like it better. So anyhow, as I was saying, I started watching YouTube about 3 years ago, and I never really knew that all this makeup, like, I've always loved makeup. I remember as a little girl playing with makeup. I just loved it. and I started wearing makeup when I was in grade 7. Just a little bit of eyeshadow and not really foundation or anything like that. And then as I got older, you know, I've always worn makeup. It's always been something I loved. But then finding a world where other people were passionate about makeup was so exciting for me. I was just like, wow, like this, I can't believe this exists, because I've never really had anyone that I could share my passion with. And so I got into collecting makeup, and I watched YouTube for about 2 years before I finally decided. And all along I was like, I always wished that I could make videos too. I was like, but it took me a long time to build up my courage because I was so afraid. Afraid of people's judgment, afraid of negative comments, afraid of dislikes, afraid of people not liking me. And it took me, I would say, a good year to build up the courage to say that, you know, that the benefits that I would derive from YouTube and from sharing my passion and having a hobby and making connections, that was more, there was more to gain than there was to lose. And I also thought to myself, you know, it would be a good chance to try to develop a thicker skin, to understand that not everyone in the world is going to approve of me. Not everyone is going to like me. People are going to dislike me. They're going to not like the way I look. They're going to not like the way I do things. They're going to not like the way I talk. And I think that, you know, when I get dislikes on my videos, it's difficult because it causes me, like, I'm already so insecure that I'm like, well, what is it that they didn't like? Was it that they didn't like the way I talked, or that I didn't talk? Was I not chatty enough? Was I too chatty? They didn't like the way I did my makeup. Maybe they didn't like the brand of makeup I used. Maybe they didn't like the look I did. You just don't know. And for somebody who's deeply insecure, having that imagination just run away with you is very challenging. So anyhow, I still, you know, I struggle with it. I have to try to tell myself, you know, I'll look and I'll say, well, I had 12 likes on this video and 2 dislikes. And I have to let the 12 likes mean a lot more than the 2 dislikes in my mind. And sometimes it's challenging to get to that headspace, but I do eventually usually get there. Okay, well, this is interesting because I am really liking the way that this foundation is looking now, and I hated it before, so I don't really know what's different, but it's a good thing. Okay, so now for concealer, I'm going to go in with my Project Pan concealer. I've showed you this before. And just a little bit under my eyes there. But you know, it's interesting because to see me out in public, I don't think you would think that I was an insecure person. As I'm friendly, I'm talkative, I ask people questions, I introduce myself. You know, like, I don't act like somebody who is insecure. When I was in school, you know, I was never afraid to put up my hand and share my opinion, answer questions. I like to be involved. But I think that when I was quite a bit younger, I was never shy about offering my opinion. And now I rarely offer my opinion on things. I find it difficult sometimes being an excessively chatty person when I'm making my YouTube videos, and I think that sometimes I wonder if that's why I'm getting dislikes, is because I don't really talk too much. And you know, for somebody who's truly passionate about makeup, I guess that it can be fun to watch somebody put their makeup on and not have too much to say. But for most people, you want a little bit of entertainment, so you want to hear what people are thinking or feeling, or you want to listen to something. But my role in my social relationships has become over time, so to where I'm more of a listener than I am somebody who talks. And so I think that's a little bit why I have a hard time being very verbose when I'm making my videos. I've had some good advice in the past, which is, make a list, write down a list of things that I want to talk about. But sometimes it's hard to know what to talk about. And, there are other people who I watch who are so good at just talking about commonplace things and making it sound interesting. But I think, nobody wants to watch what movies I watched, or, the movie marathon I had with my daughter. Nobody wants to hear about that. And so I don't think of those things to talk about. But maybe people do want to hear about those kinds of things. I don't know. So I guess it's kind of an insecurity that I just don't find that the things that I do would be really that interesting. But on the flip side, when people that I watch talk about what shows they're watching or what they did the other day or things like that, I find it interesting. So I guess it's a bit of a I don't know what you'd call it. Not a catch-22, but a bit of a contradiction that I find myself to be boring talking about things that I find other people. So what I'm trying to say is that, I'm probably wrong. And that is one of the goals that I have for my channel, is to try to be better at being more talkative. Now I'm just going in with the Peach Perfect powder. I bought these these are called Natural Premium Oil Blotting Tissues from Pleasing Care. I bought them on Amazon, and they actually have green tea in them. So I use these, and I blotted before. Actually, the powder doesn't taste too bad. But anyhow, to continue on, I'm trying to become somebody who doesn't really care what other people think. And that's, I wish that I could live my life and just say, you know what, I'm gonna do what I like. I'm gonna make my videos, I'm gonna live my life, and I don't really care what you think. So if I want to, voice my opinion about Jeffree Star, and I get comments from people who disagree with me, I want to be able to say I don't really care. But I don't really voice my opinion too much about Jeffree Star, because I don't want to be, what's the word? So I don't want to talk about things that are controversial, because I'm afraid of people's opinions. I don't want people to disagree with me, because then I feel like I'm being disapproved of. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that this is a good way to be. I hate being this way, and I wish that I could, be more, not give a shit. That's how I wish I could be, but I don't know how to get there. Like, how do you go from caring so much about people's feelings and wanting always to do the right thing and always trying to be so careful and sensitive about how other people feel, to being, I'm not saying that one is, independent of the other. Like, I'm saying that you can not really give a shit what people think, and also be, like a Well, I mean, I don't know. Can you? Can you be a kind and caring person and not really give a shit what people think about you? Or if you don't give a shit about what people think about you, does that make you automatically kind of a rude person? I mean, I don't know. I guess you can be I guess you can be assertive and you can be strong in yourself and in your own opinion and have confidence without, and still be kind to people and still care about their feelings, but you just don't let it affect how you feel. And I think that's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I'm just rambling. But what I'm trying to say is that I want to get to a point where I can be confident in myself and confident in my own feelings. And I think that's why deep down I don't like to share my opinions, because I'm not necessarily confident in how I feel. And, I have that sort of insecurity. So how do you go from being an insecure person to a secure person? Like, how do you go from being insecure to having confidence in who you are and the things that you think and the things that you believe? I mean, do any of you have any experience with any of this? Do you have any advice to share on how you went maybe from having insecurities to becoming a confident person? I kind of thought, people told me and I read that as you age, that, I feel the same way that I did when I was 20, and now I'm 48. And I still feel like I'm not really sure of myself. And I expected that when I was going to be in my 40s, that everyone said, well, the best part about aging is that you really get to know yourself and you become comfortable in your own skin. Okay, so this is crazy because this foundation looks actually pretty good. And I hated it the first time I used it. So I guess that goes to show that first impressions aren't always, the way to go. I'm doing well with panning this. This is my Rodial or Rodial. I still don't know how to pronounce that. This is the contour I have. It's a very nice contour product. I really like it. I think being on YouTube, especially as, and hopefully my channel will continue to grow, but as my channel grows, you become subject to more and more criticism and more dislikes and more people who don't like something about what you're doing. And I'm hoping that I will be able to cope with that, because I don't think it's going to be easy. And I'm hoping it doesn't make me want to just, quit the whole process, because there are things about making videos, the process of making videos, of doing my makeup, of editing and thinking about topics and sharing my passion for makeup and being able to be excited and say, look what I got, guys. Like, it's so fun and it's so rewarding, because, I can show Kennedy the stuff I buy and she gets excited, but everyone else is like, you have how many eyeshadow palettes? And they just think I'm bananas. And it's really hard to feel like I have anything in common with anybody in my real life, because they all think I'm nuts. So it is so valuable to me to have this community where I can talk about my love for makeup and talk about the things I've bought and have people who are like, yeah, no, I get that. I understand. So that was just my new Dior bronzer that I was using. Oh, I love it so much. It's really nice. I'm going to go in also with my Dior. This is the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow. That's in this beautiful pink color. I haven't decided what eyeshadow palette I'm going to use yet. So yeah, I really like that color of blush. Okay, I'm just going to quickly do my eyebrows and I'll be right back. Okay, so eyebrows are done. I forgot to do highlighter, so I am going to go in with the e.l.f. Jelly highlighter. I have only used this once, so. I need to figure out what highlighting brush I want to use. Maybe I'll just tap it in on the other side. Oops, I think I got too much. So maybe I won't. Not sure really how I feel about this product. But I mean, you know, you can get dislikes from people for all kinds of different reasons. Like maybe they don't like the brand that you used. Maybe they don't like the technique that you used. Maybe your voice is annoying. Maybe, I mean, it's just, there can be all kinds of different reasons. So in the end, I guess it's silly to take it personally. And I am getting better. I mean, I was pretty upset about it the first time it happened, and I guess I'm proud of myself for having the courage to try something in despite that risk. Because, I mean, it's bound to happen. So I'm just gonna go in, I think I'm gonna go in with maybe Star Surfer, which is this highlighter, and I'm gonna go in over top of the e.l.f. Jelly highlighter, just like this. Like, my husband is such a confident person. Like, he literally doesn't care what people think. And he will just, you know, live his life, and he doesn't really spend a lot of time worrying. And I worry all the damn time about people. And it's just something I want it to stop. Ugh. This is eyeshadow primer. As I'm sure you can tell, it's the Pretty Vulgar eyeshadow primer. It's my favorite one. I really like it. I find it does a good job. My eyeshadow stays on for a long time, doesn't crease. Okay, so let's zoom in because I'm going to do my eyeshadow. Whoops, wrong way. So I think I need to put the camera up a little bit. I'm trying to decide what palette to use. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the palette I chose was, and this is for Lisa from Banning, Panning and Beyond. She is considering buying this palette, so I told her I would pull it and do a look for her so she could see what it looks like. So this is the palette that I'm going to use, and I'm going to start out with this shade in my transition. I'm going to use a JH32. Very coral looking. Doesn't really look like what in the pan. It just kind of looks like a beige, but on the eye it's more pink and more kind of corally than I was expecting. So I have done some reading on becoming a more confident person and dealing with insecurity. So I am working on it. I should be interested in hearing or reading any advice that any of you might have, or if you feel like you have some of these feelings in common, if you can relate, if I'm being relatable, or maybe I'm completely out in left field, I don't know. Okay, so now I'm going to go use I'm going to use a JH34, and I'm going to go in with this shade called Tart, and I'm going to work that through my crease as well. Definitely quite pigmented, but blending out pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in with the JH32, and I'm just going to blend. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my Rephr. This is the Rephr 14 brush, and I'm going to go in with this darker shade here, and I'm going to smoke out the corners. Okay, now I'm going to go back into the actually I'm going to take a clean JH32. And I'm going to blend. Okay, so that's what we're looking like. Now I'm going to grab my everyday palette and I'm going to go in with this dark brown color, and I'm just going to blow out the corners a little bit more with this darker color, and I'm going to use still this color right here, or this brush. I'm going to go in with this smaller little blending brush and just blend that out. And I'm going to go back in with the dark red. That's what we're looking like. I've got a bit of fallout that I need to clean up. I'm not sure what I really think about the look, but I need to add shimmer, so I think I'm going to go in with this pretty color. Which is called Sweet. It's this one right here. Yeah, that one's beautiful. Beautiful. Hey, it's certainly really nicely opaque considering I haven't sprayed it, but I am going to spray it. Because as Nona says, we spray every shimmer regardless of red. I think that the whole palette is worth it just for that pink shade. Wow, that is gorgeous. Okay, I'm just gonna go away and clean up some of this fallout, do some eyeliner, some mascara and other stuff, and I'll be back to show you the finished look and do a lipstick. Okay, so we're back with almost the finished look. Now I just have to decide what kind of lipstick I want to do. I don't know if I want to go for more of a nude or something bright. So I will be right back to figure that out. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink in the shade Dreamer. I'm going to go in with the Milani Color Statement Lip Liner in the shade Pretty Pink. Okay, so here we are with the finished look. I don't know. What do I think about this palette? Well, it's supposed to be red, but it comes out like really pink. The shimmers, here I'll swatch the shimmers for you. The shimmers are gorgeous. I don't wear pink that often, so I'm not used to seeing myself in such a bold pink look. The palette itself is good quality. I don't know, I enjoyed using it. Is it my favorite? No. Just because I'm not like a huge fan of these bright pink looks. In fact, Mary, sorry I did such a bright pink look because I know you hate bright pink. As we found out, as I found out after watching your makeup collection, as you hated your bright pink Revolution palette, which I thought was kind of amusing. But anyways, so yeah, so this is it. Lisa, do I think you should get this palette? I don't think so, because I don't think it's, other than, no, I didn't use these 2 orange shades, but you've already got the orange palette. And it's really just kind of comes out pink, so, you know, you could think about skipping it. So anyhow, I'd like to thank you guys for listening to my rambling today. You know, it feels good to talk about things sometimes that are troubling me, or, you know, that I've been thinking about. And, you know, I wouldn't mind some feedback. Time is our most precious resource, and when you spend a little bit of your time with me, I really appreciate it. I hope wherever in the world you are, that you're well, that you're healthy, that you're happy. I'd like to encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you wish to. Activate the notification bell so that you're aware of my uploads. Comment down below, because I love reading your comments so much. And maybe a thumbs up for me. That's it from me for today. Take care. Bye-bye.